everyone, and welcome to Things Lost in My Absence. Absence leaves an imprint not only, I mean, Absence leaves an imprint not just on our memories, but on the shape of who we become. This is Things Lost in My Absence, a series of conversations with those who grew up with an echo of a missing parent. Through stories, we trace the things lost, the things found, and the quiet resilience of becoming whole, even when no one showed us how. I am your host, Nomad Jazz, and this is where silence speaks. Today on Things Lost in Our Absence, we have Terrell Hockaday, who is my big cuz. Want to go ahead and introduce yourself, cuz?
Yo, what's up? Yeah, my name is Terrell. I'm an artist, and I am, of course, her cousin. Thanks for having me on, cuz. I
You're
appreciate you.
welcome. Thank you for allowing me to share your story in such a profound way.
Hey, anytime. I appreciate it.
All right, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Um, what did home mean to you as a child? Can you describe what it felt like walking through that front door? I know we started off so hard. We
Yeah,
started.
that's a crazy one. I mean, home for me always meant peace, like it was always important for it to be peaceful, quiet, you know. It also meant family. Um, the deal. You used to come over a lot back in the day, and it's like, just, a place where not only my day-to-day, core family, the people who I spent the most time with, but also extended family would be able to come and essentially just chill, and have a great time. A lot of memories when it comes to that front door right there.
When you think of your father, what's the first image or feeling that comes up?
I think of his laugh. I think of his laugh. That's the first thing I think of when I think of my dad. His laugh and how he's able to make people laugh.
Okay. When you needed comfort, who, if anyone, did you turn to, or did you just hold it all in?
Mm. I'm very much the hold it all in type of person. Um, Not for any reason specifically. I'm more so a hold it all in person because I feel like everyone has their own things that they're going through, essentially. So like I've always tried to work through my own things.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you carry anger, sadness, or something else about him?
Sadness. Um, Specifically speaking about my father, there is sadness there because there used to be anger, you know, at a certain point when I was in my 20s, now 35, oh man, get the cane, but I used to be mad at my dad because like there were a lot of times where he left me hanging, a lot. All I wanted really was for him to be around.
Hmm.
Um, there was times where I'm like, yo, Pop, you gonna pick me up? And he's just like, yeah, yeah, I'll be there, son. And I'm over here, you know what I mean, waiting. Then next thing you know, the waiting turned to the, then it turned to the, and then he don't show up, you know what I mean? And that happened a lot of times. Sadness now because, you know, over time we did, I got to talk to him about that. I was like, yo, you wasn't there, man, and he did apologize and, he always wanted to fix it, but my dad's old. My dad's what, he just turned 82, this year. So it's like he had me late. So now, even though we were trying to take these steps to fix it, which I do forgive him, I feel like due to the condition he's in, not that he's, not that he's almost out of here or something, but like, due to the condition he's in his older age, there's not much time to, and he doesn't even have the wherewithal to like even give me some of those things that I wanted when I was younger, when we were both younger, that knowledge, that wisdom, like his mindset's not the same. So he's not even able to really, speak on in depth some of the things that I would have wanted to speak on with him. So that's what leads to the sadness because I see, that my time with him is probably more limited than I think, or maybe not, right? But it's like I see that like the things that I wanted from him, even now, I'll probably still never be able to get. You know what I mean?
Whew, you about to make me cry. Told you I wasn't trying to do that today. Did
Yeah,
you ever feel like you had to compete for his love or accept that it was never coming?
yeah. I never felt like I had to compete for his love, but my dad is the type of man who like once he gets with like a woman or something, you know what I mean, then he kind of dips on the kid too, you know what I mean? Like so like once him and my mom weren't together, he left and it's like I never felt like I had to compete because there were times where I would, go and chill with him. He didn't leave me hanging every time, but those times where he did pick me up, he might have had to go work, and I would spend time with my stepmom, who now she helps a lot with taking care of him because she wants all of us, his kids, to be able to, still go about life. She understands that we all have a lot going on in this period of time right now where our dad needs us the most, but um, I never felt like I had to compete, but I essentially just had to accept the fact that like, that void would just be there. It's just going to have to exist.
Ooh, this one I'm gonna forewarn you. This one is a hard one. Was there a time when you stopped waiting for him?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's for sure a time I stopped waiting for him. I can't pinpoint exactly when, but I remember there was a time where I just stopped. I stopped calling him. I stopped reaching out, and he felt the way about it, which is funny because, at the end of the day, I'm the kid. Like he should be reaching out to me. He should be calling me saying happy birthday and stuff like that. I'll never forget. I'll never forget. This is a funny story. My dad would never remember this, but I remember it, of course, right? My dad called me one time. This is years ago, many years. We were like, I was in like high school. So this like '08, maybe '07, some shit like that. Hopefully I could curse on here.
You
Hopefully.
can curse. You can curse.
All
You
right.
know, me and
All
cussing
right.
ass family. I don't know why you tried it. I don't even know why you
All right,
tried
word. All
it.
right. But yeah, it was like '07, '06, '08, somewhere around that time frame. And like my dad called me. It was kind of late at night. It was like probably like 11 or something. And I pick up the phone. Yo, you know what I mean? And he was like, "Is Crystal there?" And I was like, "No, this is your son. This is Terrell." And then he hung up on me. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Back then my dad used to drink, so I was like, he's a fucking drunk or something. Like, I didn't call him back or anything, but like that call sat with me heavily because I was just like, yo, like, you know what I mean? Here I am, excited to hear, like, I'm
Wait,
thinking,
and you not even calling to talk to me.
yeah, it's like you don't even get.
And
I was just like,
you know what's crazy? In a sense, we can laugh about things like this now, but in
yeah,
that moment, you're just like,
yeah, that shit hurt. Yeah, that shit
like, damn, like
hurt.
you don't even want to talk to me, yo, chat. You know what?
Yeah,
That is the funniest. I'm not even gonna hold you.
yeah, yeah. It's funny as hell to like think back on that shit now. My bad, that's the bell. Um, Let me actually lock my door now, though. It's funny to think back on that shit now, but it's like back then, after that moment, I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, should I even answer his call if he calls me? You know?
Hmm.
Yeah. All right,
Do
word.
do you think his absence shaped your shaped how you define fatherhood today?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I'm not a dad yet, you know that, right? But for me, as a man who lacked his own father, even though I knew him, right? I knew my dad. You know, some people don't even get that luxury, right? And I still know my dad. He's still around. But what he didn't do and what he did do taught me what I'm not going to do. You know what I mean? So it's like, in that, that's how it kind of shaped how I view, fatherhood and how you should be a dad, right? Because I know how I felt when he did things. I know how I felt when he said things, and I know that, like, through that, there are certain things that, like, I would never want my own children to ever deal with. And one of them is, essentially wanting for their father, like my future children will never want for me because I know how it feels, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be around, you know what I mean? Like, I'm planning to be around 100%.
And I think the sad part is that that is a real big issue, especially in our family. Jesus.
Yeah.
Especially with the men in our family. Like, it's just like it happened to you. So why would you continuously pass this down?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Because to me, it's like if two plus two is four and five plus five is
Yeah,
why?
it ain't gonna add up to nothing else. You know what I mean? It's gonna add up to the same shit every time.
So why would you like and it's just like how it felt because you're either running from the emotions now or you've dealt with them, so why would you pass that on down? Why wouldn't you be like, you know what, this is a cycle that I don't want to repeat?
Yeah. I don't know. Trust me, I still try to wrap my head around it. You know what I mean? I don't want to speak on it too crazy because
Because
we 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 are related to the same people. You know
right.
what I mean? But it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. That, this it's just my point of view. It's like, my dad wasn't around enough at
Mhm.
all. He ain't put in enough work. There's a lot of things I wanted to learn from him. I always said my dad was a mechanic. My dad could do plumbing. My dad could do a roof. My dad could build the crib over there on Monroe. Like, that shit was burnt to a crisp when he got it. You know what I mean? Like, he restored that whole crib. I ain't learned none of that. I wish I was able to learn that from my father, but instead he was, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Seeing, like, people do that, it's disheartening to me. That's why I love seeing dads. You know what I mean? I love seeing people being actual fathers. I love seeing that shit 100%.
All right, we're gonna shift to one of my favorite people, your mom. She, I think your mom is literally everybody's favorite. Not even gonna hold you.
Yeah. People fuck with her heavy,
They
She got a good head on her shoulders. She definitely do.
she do, and I love her to life. I love her to life, especially when she helped me through what I went through. Like my love for her grew even more.
Her strength is up there, and she's all about doing the right thing. You know what I
Mm.
mean? That's one thing I love about my mom a lot. She's all about doing the right thing. Objectively, she ain't giving you no pass just because you blood. You ain't getting no pass. She gonna tell you what it is.
What?
You know what
Yeah,
I
I swear, if I could emulate one thing from her, it would be on that because your mom, she stand on business. She hold everybody's being held accountable, nobody, no matter what. Brother, sister,
mean?
mother, father,
Yeah,
uncle, cousin, son, daughter,
yeah,
it don't
yeah. It don't matter.
don't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, she's like, I still love you, give me a hug. And I'm just like,
After she just ripped you a whole new one, you know what I mean?
she was,
Here, take this hug too. While you
Right.
at it.
Right. But I'm like seeing her like seeing her now in adult eyes, because like when I was a kid, like your mom was like my superhero. Like I was like, I want to be like her when I grow up.
Yeah,
Because like your mom, like she emulated grace, and she
yeah,
still does.
yeah.
And like in my mind, that is what like your mom is what a true matriarch is supposed to be. Now, granted,
I,
yes, we are all human and we all have our flaws, but that right
yeah,
there, like when it came down to being held accountable about the family sins, like she didn't care. She ain't let no sleeping dogs lie. She just was like, y'all gonna get y'all shit together. Period.
word, word,
But
word.
question number one. What was your mother like during those years? Was she open about your father, or was it a closed subject?
My mom is open about everything, you know what I mean? So it's like she's not so this is what kind of makes things hurt a little worse when it comes to like my dad not being around. I'm not gonna say like it hurts now, because like, of course there's still gonna be some lingering pain here when I think back. But it's like I know my mom, right? Like she wouldn't my mom didn't keep me away from my dad. It would have probably been a little different. Like maybe I would feel a little different about things if it was like she was like, nah, you ain't seeing him. Da, 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 da. No. She like, go ahead. You want to go chill with your dad, have fun, be careful, like she never was like, nah, you ain't seeing him, you ain't talking to him. Oh, it was a total open line of communication between me and him. And she was very open about it, and she was also very supportive the times where like, he left me hanging. She would, she'd find it. She'd find me, upset. She'd be like, what happened? He ain't come yet. And I'll be over here, no, crying and shit. Like literally crying and shit. You know what I mean? Because he ain't pull up, And she was always hella supportive. Like they got into one of the biggest fights ever back in the day. Like not physical, because but on some shit, my mom, she'll fucking, man or not, she'll punch you. You know what I mean? If you wrong. But now that her boys are older, we be like chill, because she also chilled out a lot in her older age. We like chill. If something gotta be done, then you got the Giants. We got you. You know what I mean? But like they got into one of the biggest fights ever. This how supportive my mom was. Like me back in the day, I was way more emotional. Blah blah blah, Pisces shit. You know the deal. Cry, cry, emotions, whatever, whatever. You know what I mean? So like I would cry. I'll be willing to cry. I ain't really care. And it's like I ain't feel no pride about that shit. I still to this day like I'll cry. I don't give a fuck. I'll cry in front of anybody because that's real. That's human. You know what I mean? But my dad, he ain't really like seeing his son cry. So, there's slurs that begin with the F that he would drop. Like, yeah, only they cry. You know what I mean? And my mom would be like, because I would tell her, like later on, because he wouldn't say it around her, because, well, the people watching this don't know. My mom and my dad, they're not together, right? So, um, when I would get back to my mom, and I would say, yo, he said this or whatever, when I cry, like she'll be pissed and she'll be like, nah, don't you ever feel like you can't cry. Don't you ever feel like you can't express yourself in any way that you need to, because, you are a human. Yeah, you're a boy at this point, a man, but she's like, yeah, you're a boy, but crying ain't only for girls, you know what I mean? So like I always loved that about my mom, and that just speaks to how supportive she was and how open she was. And she would talk about whatever. If I ever had a question, if down to the reason why they broke up, she still to this day got the fucking letter that she received in the mail of some girl basically saying to my pops like, love you, like we had a great time together. It could have been some fake shit. You know how people be setting people up, whatever. Maybe she just wanted them broken up. But at the end of the day, my mom saw that shit. She like, oh, word, you're done. Cut them off. They broke up because of that. My mom don't tolerate no cheating. Respect to that. You know what I mean? Respect to that. And on some shit, my dad be doing shit. You know what I mean? Like he thirsty. He was thirsty back then. So it's like, but she was open. So it's like even that she was showing me. She was like, yo, just so you know that I ain't, gassing it. I ain't just get your dad out of here for no reason. And I can't blame her. It's like, yo, be faithful. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna sit here and support somebody that's cheating on my mom or whatever, what you my dad or not. You know what I mean? So it's like I respect how open she is, you know?
Did you ever feel like you had to protect her emotionally? Like you couldn't express your pain because it would hurt her more?
Yeah. There's times, not even just when it comes to my dad, but there's times in life where, like, my mom, she's always wanted us to be able to talk to her about anything. But for me, I can't talk to people about anything because people are used to me being like a certain way. Like often, even in this call, right? You know me, Jazz. Like I could be serious as fuck, or I could be joking around and laughing all day and having fun. You know what I mean? So it's like there's that duality in me, and it's like within those two sides of the coin, there is a middle where like essentially like the other emotions lie, essentially the sadness, the pain and shit like that. And it's like there are times that I have been upset about something. It could be anything, sad enough where I'm just like, damn, like fuck all this shit. You know what I mean? But I would never bring it to my mom because I don't want to. I don't. I couldn't. I couldn't do that to her. I couldn't have her worry. I couldn't have her. Thinking about it. She always says that she prays for all her boys. She prays for all of the people that she loves and shit. But it's like I wouldn't be able to tell her something that I know would make her just worry. I just can't. I can't. I wouldn't. Yeah.
That's understandable. Like to this day, my dad doesn't know a lot of the things that I went through emotionally. Like he
Yeah.
knows bits and pieces, but I won't. And it's not that I know that he'll feel guilty. It's because more so I know he will feel guilty, and I know that is a heavy burden for him. So I just be like, yeah, nah,
Yeah. I mean, everything ain't for them to know. You know what I
some
mean? That's
things I
just what
won't
it
ever,
is.
yeah, some things I won't ever tell him, and I just be like,
Yeah. Some things they just don't need to know.
looking back, do you think she understood how deeply his absence affected you?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like she tells me she would tell me that like when they were together, she used to tell him like spend time with your kids. She would tell him that, like not me, like my other siblings from him. And she said I should have known back then. You know what I mean? Like what type of shit he would be on. But I can't blame her because otherwise like I wouldn't exist, right? But like my bad, I'm getting off track.
You're fine. You're fine. This is an open flowing conversation, so it is
Word.
what it is. Like there is no, you know me. There is no rigidness over here. Like what?
Word.
It is what it is.
Word. But yeah, it's like I know she wishes that like I could have gotten the dad that I wanted, essentially. I know she does, but it is what it is. Like I'm happy with the job that she did, like she did a good job, you know.
No, no. Your mom did a fucking phenomenal fucking job.
Yeah.
Like, ironically enough, when it comes to me looking at people or looking at men, especially as prospects and dating, I'm like, damn, is he a protector? Because like one thing, I am the youngest out of all of us. So I'm
Yeah.
baby. I'm the baby. Before Jarrell came into the picture, I'm the baby. And y'all was like, we grew up as siblings. So like you was like my bigger brother. Like you, LT, Tony, y'all were my bigger brothers. So y'all were automatically like, I don't even know how or why, but y'all just assume the mantle of protector. So like first things first, I'm like, can y'all protect me? Because if not, if I gotta call my cousins and they gotta come out here, they probably gonna beat the person up and then beat you up because for why? But your mom did a phenomenal job, especially because back then, no one knew what emotional intelligence was, especially for men and boys. It was always, oh, you a man, you not supposed to cry, you supposed to hold it in, da 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 da.
Yeah,
Like your dad said, like a lot of the men have that mentality. So for your mom to gift you unknowingly emotional intelligence in
yeah,
your younger years and your most important years, like that's a fucking blessing.
yeah. I do think about that. Like even before I knew what the term was, like people would say that I am right. And it even started. This was years ago. You know what I mean? So I look into it. I'm like, oh shit, like and I do thank her for that because like there are a lot of guys as a guy, like men don't know how to talk. I've said this to you before. At times when we be kitchen table shit, whatever. But it's like men don't be knowing how to talk about shit. You know what I mean? And it's like that's because I feel like a lot of times they don't even know how they feel about shit. You know what I mean? Like. And for me, it's different, and I do thank my mom for that. Just having this additional introspection. You know what I mean? This ability to be vulnerable and actually have emotions and let them show. Right? Like I ain't gonna lie, it's bit me in the ass in life. Like it definitely has, but at the end of the day, that don't change nothing. I'm gonna still do it because like that's how I maintain being authentic. You know what I mean? Like everybody gets the same me. Even if I was working a corporate job, I'd be talking like this. I just worked a corporate job for a little bit. It's like it's still the same. Like I want to be able to be myself, and I want to be able to treat people with respect and shit. And a lot of that, that was passed down from my mom. So definitely respect to her.
Hell yeah. Like give her her flower. I will give her her flowers any and every day.
Word, word, me too.
Because even with me, like your mom didn't have to take me in the way that she took me in.
Word,
Just like
word.
grandmother didn't have to take me in the way that she took me in. None of them had to take me in the way that they took me in. And a lot of the things that I've learned about being a woman is because of them.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. But and that's also a beautiful thing because you get pieces, right? Like of course you would love someone to be just like, yo, here it is, the book, bang.
Right.
But like,
Have
but
at it.
like,
Read it.
yeah, exactly. But it's like when you get to have like some of this, some of that, some of this, some of that, that often can be more valuable than just having you know what I mean, whole compendium of shit. You know what I mean? It's like, you know. I think it's a good thing, that you got parts of them all, because that's also how they live on, you know, um, just through what they pass down to us, and what we are able to share and pass on as we go through this life.
Mhm. All right, next question. What do you think she sacrificed to hold things together? And did that cost you connection?
What she sacrificed, I feel like for her, she ain't feel like she sacrificed because all she ever cared about was her boys. Like the family, of course, but like the most like probably the thing on the top of the list always her boys. So it's like any sacrifices that she made, like I know it was worth it to her. Me and her were just talking a few days ago, and she was talking about how, you know, when we were younger, she had to file for bankruptcy. I didn't know that. I mean, I did know that. I knew it like as I got older, but as it was going on, I had no idea, right? Um, but she did a good job at kind of like maintaining her composure and making everything seem like it was okay. like, so her sacrificing her own ability to freak out, because we all need that kind of. You need to be able to freak out sometimes. You need to be able to be like, oh, fuck, I'm fucked. Help
Look,
me.
I told you earlier
You
today,
need to
either
be
I
able to do
crash
that.
out or
Yeah.
I cry.
Yeah. It's like you
One at the
need
same
to
time
be
is
able
gonna
to
be
do that.
good.
Like if you can't do that, like that frustration is just going to like build, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm wondering like how does she deal with the stress? You know what I mean? Like knowing that you ain't got shit, but you got kids that you got to take care of and everything. It's like, yeah, she had the crib, but it's like at the end of the day, she looking in her pockets like flies falling, flies coming out of it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, damn. But she pulled it off somehow. Like the things that she sacrificed to get where, to make it to the point she made it to.
And
Ah,
she made that shit look so effortless.
yeah, she did.
Oh,
She
and
did.
that's what I say when I say like if I could emulate anything from your mom, it would be her grace, but her way to curse people out too, because she will verbally call somebody, and you just be sitting there in the basement like, damn,
Yeah,
that
it should definitely have you on some like,
her way to just handle everything. And I think that in a sense, I do have that because a lot of people were like, we don't, I don't, a lot of the times, Ashley, or even anybody else, we didn't even know what was going on because it's been like vault. I ain't got, I ain't got time to freak out right now. So we just gonna deal with that when we deal with that. And like,
yeah,
is it unhealthy? Absolutely. But
yeah.
but sometimes it's needed. Like sometimes it's the resilience that your mom has that has always been like my biggest, you're a superhero.
Same, same, same. Mhm.
What lessons did your father's absence teach you about being present?
Man, I touched on it a little bit before, but like when I'm present, I'm fully present. You know, we from the era when we went outside and played.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Drink
So
water from the water hose.
once again, Kane shit, gotta bring out the Kane, old man shit. You know what I mean? But we was outside playing and shit. You know what I mean? So, but we also had technology, right? We had the, Super Nintendo. You remember back in the day, shit? You remember that? We came up with the phones. We was hitting the numbers, 333 444 555. We were doing that shit.
Hmm.
So like I say that to say this. For me, I'm fully present when I'm present. So like of course, I gotta use technology because, business, entertainment, sometimes I be bored. I like to draw digital, you know what I mean? I use technology is a big part of my life. But I know, especially all of the people that we have lost, right? I know how important time is. So you notice one thing about me when I come chill. I might check my phone here and there, but I like to put it off to the side when I'm with people because I love to have conversations, you know this, and nothing's worse than trying to have a serious conversation if somebody's on. Huh? What you said? You know what I mean? So it's like not only do I try to be present, in terms of attentive and not on devices when I'm with people, but also like when I can. I try to show up for things, like I'm a person who, I'm kind of like, nah, I'm off to my, I'm in my own little dimension, but like I like to appear because like, I want to show that I still love and care about people. I still want to be a part of things. I'm big on family. I'm big on friendship. Um, I have a lot of friends that go back to elementary school. We talking about 20 plus years, and a lot, and I can't take, I never take that for granted, because like I see people who, all of the people they fucked with back in the day, they don't see them no more. They don't hear from them no more. They don't get to be around them no more. But like for me, I'm big on being solid, being present, being honest, you know what I mean? Being helpful, you know. And I learned that from my dad not being around, because those are some of the things that I wanted from him, help me. Be here for me, you know what I mean? But
Help
like
me.
you
Yeah.
yeah, but you can't, that's the thing, you can't beg people, and I say all this to say this: you can't beg people to be around. I couldn't have begged my dad to be around. I couldn't have begged him to be around. And I wouldn't have wanted to beg him to be around, because like if you gotta beg somebody to be around, fuck you doing? You know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's like nobody ever gonna have to beg me to be around. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to be around, then I'm gonna pull up. And even if like it might be a day where I'm listening, yo, I'm gonna just be honest, yo, I don't feel like coming out right now, or I don't feel like, you know what I mean, just keep it G. I'm not gonna string you along, because I know how that shit go too, right? Like I learned that from my dad. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, yeah, I'll be there, yeah, I'll be there. Then I'm not there. Nah, I'm gonna just, you gonna know. If I'm not gonna be
I
there, you
can't
gonna
make it.
know.
Right.
Yeah,
I can't make
word.
it.
Like,
I tried.
yeah, like
I'll catch you on the flip side, though.
yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll pull up next time, like I did fuck up. I was supposed to pull up to the birthday party, Calhoun. I was supposed to pull up. I didn't pull up. I didn't pull up. I did fuck up. I should have hit him like, yo, my bad, cuz I can't make it.
Yeah.
And I feel bad about that shit. I do.
Yes, though, and you know you're gonna reach out soon because you do feel bad.
Yeah, I do feel bad. But you know what? I'm gonna just use this for an example. So I didn't go to that birthday party, and I didn't hit him, but like I did have a reason. Like number one, I'm poor because
You're
of the
not poor.
business. I
Hush.
am
You're
poor.
not
I'm
poor.
broke.
Not
My
poor.
bank account,
You're not poor and you're not broke,
my
Chicken.
bank account looks terrible right now because of
It
this
it
goddamn
does,
business.
but you know me, words are spells, so why you casting spells of lack over yourself? You're not doing that over here. What you mean?
Okay, okay. I'm temporarily financially challenged because of this business. So number one, I didn't want to pull up without a gift. That's number one. And I would have had to, because where that shit gonna come from? And then number two, I haven't met some of his kids yet. So like I don't want to come during a time where everyone's like there,
Hmm.
like, because I won't get time. And this is also speaking to being present, right? I won't get time to really interact with them and get to learn them and know them, like he won't get time for it to just be like me, him, and the little ones having fun. It's going to be like people always coming to him and asking him for stuff and asking them for stuff and giving them stuff, and it'll been chaos, and it's like I want to come more on a chill, like just rail coming, just me, just to get a chance to learn and get to know my little cousins. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
presence is very important to me, and I did. I learned it from my dad not being around.
I can't with you. What would you want to understand about the boy you were?
Ooh, about the boy I was. That's a hard one. I don't even know how to answer that. Like, because in a sense, I'm still him. You know what I would like to understand about him? How he loves so unconditionally. Because like there is an aspect of myself that I feel I have lost over time. Um, I'm still the same person who's going to like, you know, come to anyone like this, open arms, yo, come here, man. But like at the end of the day, like I do feel some portion of that is now gone. Because of pain, loss, shit like that. Um, my thing is I don't want to get too attached to new people. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm used to people being gone. and that starts with my dad, so it's like, um, I would like to understand how young me was so much more open, because I feel like I'm still just as open, but it's like I can tell that there's just like an aspect of it that is just gone,
Hmm.
you know.
All right, final question. If absence is a wound, what scar did it leave on you, and what did you carve from it?
Repeat that. Repeat that while I cook up.
If absence is a wound, what
Yep.
scar did it leave on you, and what did you carve from it?
Mm. If absence was a wound, what scar did it leave on me, and what did I carve from it? If it was a wound, I would say it did leave a fear of loss. I would say that's probably one of my biggest fears, even when I approach relationships of any sort. It's easier for me to approach a friendship than it is to approach a romantic relationship, right? And that's because of my relationship with loss. I've buried friends, I've buried family, I've lost significant others that, like, I was in 8-year relationships with, and now that's gone. 4-year relationships, and now that's gone. So it's like I've had best friends who have moved across the country, and I just recently, not to make this sad, but one of my old colleagues that I work with decided to recently, just last week, take his own life. Right? Like I'm very familiar with loss, so like that absence combined with these other times that I've lost someone, because people are what I live for, right? Like I like people. If it weren't for my ability to think introspectively about life and think outside of myself, which is a gift that I got from my mom, I wouldn't be here, right? And because there have been times where things got really dark, but I'm able to think, if I was gone, all of these people would be sad. And that's what keeps me here, right? So, like, that absence leaves me with a fear of loss. But what I carve from that is the ability to be here and be present in the way that the one who was absent, my father, could never be. My dad could never be present in the way that I am. He never was, right? He couldn't have been present like this because these are from the notes that I took from how he moved. You know what I mean? I know, don't do this. You know what I mean? Even though I ain't have him to guide me saying, son, do this, he guided me in another way. Don't do this. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what I really carved from
Thank you again for sharing your story. Thank you
it.
for walking with us through the story, through the silence, the searching, and the scars. Sometimes what's missing tells the truth louder than what's present, and in that truth, there is grief, yes, but also strength. If something in this conversation stirred something in you, let it. That's how we begin to name the ache, to break the pattern, and to tell the story that didn't get told. This has been Things Lost in My Absence. And remember, what we build in the wake of absence can become a legacy all on its own. Any last words?
Thank you, cuz, for having me on, yo. Hey, if you guys see this, I am a business owner. I got a little shop here. I'm here now. You know what I mean? I make art here, trading cards, blah, 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 random shit. I ain't gonna say the name. Maybe you can tag it at some point. But
You don't say your
I'm
name to gas your site. It's so fun.
Black Factory, Black Factory, Black Factory, black shit, black shit. You know the deal. Little black shit. But Yo, I really appreciate you having me on, cuz, and to be honest, that I think this is gonna be cool. I watch your other episodes. I'm gonna keep watching. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell people about it, all that. Just keep pushing it, cuz.
Thank
It
you. I honestly have to find more people to interview, but it's
ain't gonna be too hard. You know what I mean? People just gotta learn how to talk. You know the deal.
I do, and I thank you so much. Thank you. Like you and like a handful of people have always been like my main supporters. Like I don't got that many, but the few that I got, the few that I got will go to war for me, and I love that for me.
Word.
Even if the war is me against myself, you just be like, "Come here, give me a hug," and I'm like, start your shit. I ain't trying to cry. Don't start your
Word. You know it's all love always, 100%.
It is. It is. Like I always say, the regrets grew up. The black regrets grew up. But thank
Word.
you so much, guys.
No problem at all.